Welcome to the Sublime Soiree. I'm Sue, and we are so excited that you have decided to join us again today as we talk a little bit more about blooming.
Yes, I'm Linda. And last week we had the opportunity to visit with Sherry Brendel, who is a fashion expert with fashionmeetsfaith.com. And she talked with us about how to bloom from the inside out, even choosing what we wear to reflect our passions and our calling and communicate that to the world. And now today we get to talk about blooming with our giftedness in order to help the kingdom of God bloom.
And we are so excited that you have decided to join us today. And we want to introduce to you Kathie Brown, the director of a local ministry called WOW, Women for Oppressed Women. Kathie, I recently read on the website something that says, WOW is a ministry that encourages women of all ages to flourish in the church and beyond, equipping them to imitate Christ and empowering them to be missional. What a beautiful calling. But before we get started and talk a little bit about WOW, I want to talk to you and ask you a little bit about your walk with God and how did he encourage you personally to flourish in your unique design?
Well, as I reflect back, I see how God used circumstances in preparation for what he was calling me to do in this season of my life. God put on my heart at a very early age a desire to make a difference in the lives of others. But I had no idea that the whole time he was equipping me with the necessary tools to gather women together to raise funds and build awareness. In fact, it took a pastor to be direct, telling me that I had leadership and administrative skills in order for me to put things in motion. Well, at first I tried to deny the gifts because I really didn't see my organizational skills as anything that special. And I didn't see myself as a leader, or did I really want to be a leader? But as my passion for the disadvantaged grew, I knew it was time to use the gifts that God had lavished upon me. It was only after I took action that the realization of Ephesians 2:10 took on significance. I am God's workmanship created in Christ Jesus to do good works which he prepared in advance for me to do. And what brings me such delight and joy is that he brought like-minded women alongside of me with their own unique design and beautiful gifts to accomplish God's purposes and to glorify himself.
It's been so neat, Kathie. As you know, I've been able to be part of WOW since the very inception, and Sue really has been one of our greatest supporters since the very beginning. And that's 10 years because we are celebrating our 10th anniversary. Can you tell the viewers how WOW came to be?
Yes, well, for me, it all began at a knitting meeting. I heard about the women of Mozambique, a desperately poor country on the southeast coast of Africa. There were reports coming back to us from Mozambique that women were being killed by crocodiles as they went to the river to wash their vegetables. This really piqued my interest. And regardless if the crocodile killings were true or not, the Mozambican women have very little and work incredibly hard to provide for their families. So when I inquired about what was needed, what I could do to help, I discovered that a knit open weave bag would allow the women to go to the river, wash their vegetables, and then carry home the bag with the vegetables in it. There was a team of people from church who were leaving for Mozambique to proclaim the gospel there and to introduce these bags. Well, my mother had taught me to knit as a child, so I got out my knitting needles and I started working on a pattern of a simple, durable bag. The project progressed until I taught 5 women from church to knit so that they could teach 100 women in Mozambique to knit. Well, it worked. Amazingly enough, it worked, and the women learned to knit, and they liked to do it. And we hoped that the project would have turned into a self-sustaining means for them to earn income, but it didn't because marketing is so difficult in a third world country. And so with that, we brought the bag, we paid the women for their bags. We brought them back to the United States and sold them for a lot more, and then banked the women, banked all the money so that we could work to build the fund to start a project in Mozambique. Well, it was during this project that I fell in love with the women of Mozambique, with a lot of ocean in between because I had gone. And while I knew of their needs, I started sharing that with women in the pews around me. And I found there were a lot of women who were very eager to help with this whole project. Linda, you were one of those women who offered your gifts so generously. Even if you didn't learn how to knit, that was okay. But after you returned from you offered your gifts and your abilities for the women of Mozambique. Would you share how then everything picked up from there?
I will be happy to. So yes, I got to be one of those fortunate people who's visited the people in Mozambique twice now. And just before my first trip, I and my ministry partner, Linda, joined up with you so that you could teach us that knitted purse pattern. And one of us picked it up really, really well, not me. So I couldn't really do a whole lot of knitting instruction with the ladies in Mozambique, but I certainly could, in the eye of the beholder, right? See the beauty of what they had done and see the value in purchasing them from them and what it was doing for their families. And while I was in Mozambique, I didn't know whether I was there just for that one trip or whether I was there for a bigger purpose. And God made it pretty clear right afterwards when I came home and just told you what I had witnessed, and even started a little purse party just for my friends and family, kind of like a home party. Did something like that. And then you came to my ministry partner and me in February, I think, of 2011 and said, hey, what if we had a bigger purse party? What if we took the best of what the women in Mozambique are knitting and joined it with the best of what's available at our fingertips here in the United States and created a purse party where we could help women? And Linda and I both said, absolutely, we'd love to help. What's a purse party? And you said, I don't know. And we said, let's march forward anyway. And that's what we did. And just, what was it, Kathie? Only about 6 months later, we actually held our first very special purse party with 400 guests and raised money for a much bigger micro enterprise in Mozambique.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we learned a lot, not only about the need for an agriculture field in Mozambique, we also learned, we knew nothing about purses.
Right.
We learned a lot.
I did.
I didn't know the difference between a designer purse and any other kind of purse. So God really, really, really had us on a huge learning curve, but he did it all. He did it all.
Absolutely.
What are some of your favorite stories about the way God has used WOW to help women flourish, Kathie, and use their abilities?
Well, first and foremost, I've learned that women respond very generously when they know of a specific need. I've watched God use the talents and abilities and treasures of women doing just ordinary activities to do the extraordinary. I have a story that I love to share because it's just an amazing work of God through a woman, one of our WOW sisters. Several years ago, we were challenged to branch out. The needs of the poor and oppressed locally and globally were growing. Well, they probably weren't growing. We were seeing more of the need. And purse parties are a signature event, but we don't do them every year. And so we were in between purse parties, and we each received a challenge to be creative and develop a new way to raise funds. So one of our WOW sisters loved to sew, and she jokes about it to this day. She had a basement full of fabric that she wanted to part with. And so she just decided that she was going to do something involving sewing. She went to Pinterest, got an idea, made it her own, and began to sew journal covers. She sewed 15 journals and she quickly sold them for $10 each. Well, that was the goal, for each woman to raise $150.
Mhm.
And she decided, well, God had much more in store for her. So she sewed 15 more and 15 more. And it turned into hundreds of journals that we sold. And then from selling journals, Journal Jam and Javas came about. We call them JJ and J's, and they're small groups of women meeting in homes to encourage journaling as a way to develop intimacy with God.
Mhm.
God has used this one idea to raise thousands of dollars. It just has amazed us. All of this from a woman who acted upon an idea of something that she loved to do.
Mhm.
Well, after the founding of WOW, as Linda has described, indeed, more women started
Mhm.
joining us. And they joined us with a desire to help. But as we've been saying, and most of us are just like this, they had no idea how what they had could
Right.
be used to help raise funds.
Right.
But it became very evident as we started working that God had provided every single thing that we needed.
Mhm.
Uh, he brought somebody who knew purses to us when we didn't
Mhm.
know.
Yes.
We didn't know the difference between purses. But not only that, women offered their skills of baking and sewing and creating and marketing and designing and writing and painting and speaking to
Mhm.
bless those who are in need. So we have found out that we are doing together what not one of us could do alone.
Right.
As a result, we get very excited thinking about the women across the world and their families that we're going to
Mhm.
meet in heaven, all
Mhm.
because of what God's doing through us.
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. So the other beautiful facet of this, Kathie, is that not only has God been working in the women who are part of WOW to show them what he has planted into their gifts and abilities and how to employ them, but then in the employing, how to help women all over the world. And I don't know if you can think of some of the outreaches that he's utilized WOW to support, but I think of even that first micro enterprise, that agricultural field in Mozambique, and how astounded we were by the tons and tons of tomatoes that came from that very first crop, and how quickly that enterprise went from the size of 4 football fields to double that and beyond that. And then how he brought about the funds for us to help launch a second ag field and provide water and to build a church in Mozambique, how to provide the seed money to build the church and the playground that was attached to the church, family homes for children in Cambodia, and safe homes for women and youth right here in Greater Akron, and water wells for women in India that allowed them to go to school because they didn't have to cart so long to get their water. So many different things. Can you think of some too?
I can. When you said water, it reminded me of a water purification system in
Yes.
Pakistan that
Yes.
that we also did, and we have helped schools locally. It is just been amazing when you are aware and you uh, keep your ears open. There are needs all around us. We
Yes.
have found that they're equal both locally and globally, and that's why we keep focusing on local and global.
Yes.
So you have a signature event coming up here, Thursday, April 29th. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, first, I'd like to talk about the purpose of it, because
Mhm.
every fundraiser that we have is for the poor and oppressed, and
Mhm.
every penny that is raised goes to the poor and oppressed. But yes, indeed, 10 years later, from February of 2011, we are finding ourselves hosting our 6th purse party.
Mm.
Each purse party has blessed families all around the world. This year's, we're targeting the women of North Vietnam with vocational skills to provide for their families,
Mhm.
and the Moi people in Indonesia with solar lighting to read their Bibles. The
Mm.
women there are very excited that they've just received newly translated Bibles from the
Yes.
missionaries that are serving there.
Yeah.
And they work so hard in their gardens all day long that they don't have time to read their Bibles. And so, but as we provide solar lighting, they will be able to read their Bibles late into the night. That excites them to stay up
Yes.
late at night to read their Bibles.
Mm.
We take purses that have been generously donated to us by putting them on a silent auction and in boutiques. We invite the church, our families, and our friends to purchase tickets for an evening of dining, shopping, and fun at Guy's Party Center. During the party, we always assure our guests of the purpose for which we're raising funds and that every penny is for the poor and oppressed without any administrative skills.
Yeah.
Excuse me, skills without any administrative costs.
Awesome.
This year, the very special purse party will be held on Thursday evening, April 29th at 5 o'clock.
Mm. So what if someone wants to attend the party, but they're not available? Linda, what about options? Can they donate to WOW directly? Are there any other opportunities that they could contribute or serve or be involved with WOW?
Yes, well, Kathy, we've tried to make it very easy for people to be able to purchase tickets to the purse party this year. And they can do that by going to wow-ministry.org. And right at the top of the page, they'll see a purse party tab and they'll be able to click on that. And there's a form for them to fill out to purchase tickets. However, if they aren't able to come, they can still fill out that form. Just put 0 in the box that's asking them how many tickets they want to purchase, but they can still charge whatever amount they want to charge to be able to contribute to WOW and ultimately to the women of Vietnam and the women of Indonesia. So that's the way that we're doing that. And if they don't want to do that, but they love that idea of journals. So I want to just show you some of that handiwork that's happened because of that sweet sister's willingness to give up her fabric from the basement and use her sewing skills. These are the WOW journals, and they're so gorgeous on the inside too. They match up the inner lining to go with the outside, and they're just beautiful. They have wonderful little bookmarks on them as well. But anyway, you can purchase these journals, and you can actually do that through the website as well. And they cost $15 a piece. Or they could host one of those wonderful journal jam and javas, invite their friends over and learn how to journal and improve their relationship with God and their intimacy with God as they learn the discipline of journaling.
How fun. I know I've purchased a few journals.
Yeah, I have
and
too.
everybody enjoys them. I mean, they're
Yes.
beautiful, but they're supporting a greater cause. And if you love to journal, wow.
Yes. Yeah, they're absolutely so fun.
And Sue, I would also add that you helped us with a journal jam and java. One of our first journal jam and javas, you helped us as a hostess,
as a presenter.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was just so excited because I love to journal and have for many years. And I feel like it was great to get that out. And even all the parties that you did, I don't even know how many, but what a neat opportunity to show women a little bit about how to journal, why to journal, and then to offer the resources that they can actually purchase.
That helps a great cause along the way. So wonderful. What a great combination. Well, I've already talked about how to purchase tickets. So anything else?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so, but I think I'm going to start out and remind all of our viewers to check in with our Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you like and share. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we have a special announcement.
Yes, we do.
We have 2 tickets to give away to the very special purse party on Thursday, April 29th. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So check it out, leave a comment and subscribe. In the meantime, we are so excited that you've decided to join us at the soiree table, and we want to thank you. May your week be sublime and free above the fray.
Kathie, thank you so much.
Yes,
and
thank
thank you,
you.
viewers, for tuning in.